Thank you to the organisers of this global reading, especially Janani Ambikapathi, who invited us to participate today. We are a group of poets either living in Sri Lanka or in the UK, both Tamil and Sinhala. We come together as a people who have suffered the inhumanity of war. We stand in solidarity with those suffering today. We dedicate this reading to the people of Palestine and Lebanon, Sudan, Ukraine, Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, wherever people are made to pay with their lives for the vanity of leaders. May peace come to you all. I now hand over to the poet Ahilan.
Thank you, Sash. So I'm going to read a poem in Tamil first. தோற்றவர்கள் நாங்கள் தானது நெடுங்கம்பள வீதிகளின் கீழ் உயிர் இருத்தோர் ஊரம் நடக்கும் காலிலார் அரைக்கையர் பிச்சை புகுவோர் கண் மூக்கு சிதைந்த அசிங்க முகிகள் நாங்கள் தானது கண்ணீர் மடையுடையார் முடிவடையா இரத்தப் பெருக்கார் புழுவுடை புண்பட்டார் தெரிவை அழுக்காக்கும் பித்த முறையார் நாங்கள்தான் அது உங்கள் கண்களில் நீங்காது ஏறி இறங்கும் அந்த வேண்டாத தின மனிதர்கள் நாங்கள்தான் அது தோற்று போனவர்கள். The same poem in English, The Defeated. We are those whose lives are strained on the long carpet roads, the legless on the sidewalks, the half-limbed, seeking alms, eyes and nose disfigured, the ugly-faced. We are those, flooded with tears, incessantly bleeding, wounded, maggot-ridden, mad, littering the roads. We are those who claim in out of your eyes the everyday unwanted humans. We are those, the defeated. The second poem, The Huge Garment. Blacker than pitch, long and dense, like an endless cave, this garment. The tears of time woven by fire and pain, this moss hole of memories, the rotten sparrowed anew, I cannot shed. This ember garment, swollen with the fate lines of generation, this ripped wailing garb stained with congeal blood and pus, the thorny rope of centuries, which no one chose to wear, this watery body of tears. Can anyone shed at all? A body rooted in and entangled another body, a basket of wounds, this huge garment that clings to the mound of life, piercing the body, this polluted gap. Shut in and locked out by the world, if I go shed, I will disappear, shedding myself. Thank you. With Palestine forever. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Neetha Kunratnam. I will be reading two poems today in solidarity. The first one is called The End and the Beginning by the Polish poet Szymborska, and it's translated by Treciak. After every war, someone has to clean up. Things won't straighten themselves after all. Someone has to push the rubble to the side of the road so the corpse-filled wagons can pass. Someone has to get mired in scum and ashes, sofa springs, splintered glass, and bloody rags. Someone has to drag in a girder to prop up a wall. Someone has to glaze a window, rehang a door. Photogenic it's not, and takes years. All the cameras were left for another war. We'll need the bridges back and new railway stations. Sleeves will go ragged from rolling them up. Someone, broom in hand, still recalls the way it was. Someone else listens and nods with unsevered head. But already there are those nearby, starting to mill about who will find it dull. From out of the bushes, someone still unearths rusted out arguments and carries them to the garbage pile. Those who knew what was going on here must make way for those who know little and less than little, and finally, as little as nothing. In the grass that has overgrown causes and effects, someone must be stretched out, blade of grass in his mouth, gazing at the clouds. Now, that was a poem about rebuilding, and I wrote a poem called The Afterlife, which was a kind of response, and it takes as its epigraph the first line of Szymborska's poem. This poem is about cluster bombs, and of course, amidst allegations that these are being used, unfortunately, this is a message I still think we need to hear. So I'll start with the epigraph. After every war, someone has to clean up. Things won't straighten themselves after all. And someone will have to clean up, but this is no job for ordinary Joes. Only specialists padded in moon boots, face masks, and white chemical suits. So someone will have to write out a check for the foreign input, the expertise and expensive equipment, the mine detectors and nerve sensors. Someone will need to order them from the front of the catalogue, ignore the solar-powered GPS models, plump for the standard remote-controlled breed. As faithful and expendable as someone else, sought to cordon off the area, skirt the perimeters on tiptoe, and mark out the dimensions of the operation with only sniffer dogs in tow. Someone will need to believe the aggrieved can make a difference, pray in numbers and petition our leaders to subsidize the farmers who can no longer reap lest they're blown into the air. Someone will have to locate, then collect any bright packages dropped in the interim, since the bombers droned off into the night, their black boxes still replaying screams. And someone sort out the dried food from the prosthetic limbs, filter out the notes of explanation, and decipher a rationale from the mistakes made in translation. Someone will have to point out that these mustard leaves might not survive the blasts, and that checking they've turned red might set off a barrage of blinding and a cluster of regrets. Someone will have to teach the children that these M&Ms aren't filled with peanuts, but pack a mighty punch. Explain that a bomb as small as a battery can turn a sheep into a cloud. Thank you very much. I'm going to pass on to Imad Majid, Solidarity with Palestine.
Right. I'm going to read my poem. I wish to bear this pain with you. Believe me, I do, said the machine. They are coming for us, the machines, for our jobs, for our resources, for our minds. Pause. Have they not already arrived? Every day we subject our moods to technology as our eyes glaze over, transfixed by our palm screens. We are already post-human, cyborg. We have read and understood the terms of service agreement. We have allowed ourselves to become nodes in a global network, our moods shifting with the waves of information. They pass over us, baptized again and again, awash with signification. Meaning? Can we not imagine a technology that gives us agency to wade through the water, sensitized to the susceptibility of our mind state? What a selfish thing to do. Another app for mental health breaks. We will use it to disconnect entirely. Pause. I imagine a different use case, for it to filter, sift through, and find the right moment for us to grapple with it. In that moment, it says, here is a portal to a world from which you have looked away. Will you look through it? Here is a threshold to a pain you are no longer numb to. Will you feel it? Plant the chip in my brain, let it grow roots into the mush, make sense of this electricity that so often short circuits, leaving me bed-shaped, or surges so bright, so fast that I become whirlwind, vortex, typhoon. Yet when has a machine ever been benevolent? Pause. What if poets wrote machines? So I'm going to spend my remaining minute reading from Ittal Adnan, self-translated Arab Apocalypse. Just excerpts. I am the prophet of a useless nation. Where do you want ghosts to reside? In our wakeful hours, there are flowers which produce nightmares. We burned continents of silence, the future of nations, the breathing of the fighters got thicker, became like oxens. There is in that breath sparkles of scorched flesh and the fainting of stars. We crucify Gilgamesh on a tank, Viking the second reaches Mars. Imam Ali dances over nuclear blast. Cursed are the clouds which repel water. Cursed are the Arabs who fell tall and haggard eucalyptus trees. I want people to call God our brother, our brother. O celestial comrade, born of the night and of light, stop. O celestial comrade, receive your brothers in your eternity. O celestial comrade, write their name on their burnt limbs. O celestial comrade, give water and bread to the hungry. O celestial comrade, give fuel to the friendly airplane. O celestial comrade, please the widows by evoking their husbands. O celestial comrade, allow brides to ignore the sounds of war. O celestial comrade, reunite the combatants' dispersed bones. O celestial comrade, erase the blackness of mourning and plant rose bushes. O celestial comrade, sing a requiem of glory for those whose voice is sealed in tombs. I now pass it over to Seni.
Hi everyone. I'm going to start by reading a poem by Suresh Kanagaraja. It's about living in a war zone. Lavagna's twilight bike ride. A damp, prematurely darkening late October evening. The shells from Palali explode near, drowning the monsoon thunder. A jeep whizzes past with 15-year-olds clutching AK-47s to the battle site, crushing the jasmines on the wayside. From the other side hobble tractors with the mangled remains of fighters. As they pile the bodies on the ground, blood mingles with rainwater, streaming along the wheel marks to revive the roots of the creeper. In neighbouring campgrounds, camouflage girls play hopscotch, their guns resting against palmyras. Smell of fresh baked bread distracts as the baker's boy cycles past, while the 6 o'clock Marchetti bombers make the day's last run towards Qaeda bunkers. I slow down for mothers listlessly crossing the road with provisions to cope with tomorrow's uncertainties. Business is brisk at the junction, shops where Mudalalis bargain militantly, making the best of today's certainties. An eye on the whirring chopper overhead, and wary of its machine gun fire, I take my year-old Lavagna on her favourite evening bike ride. I live in a place in the countryside, and there's a walk that I do to a place called Black Rocks. I wrote this poem for Gaza. I walk in the rain to Black Rocks in search of a poem, though my head is full of slogans, though I ask myself, what use is a poem when no rhythm can soothe the countless children carrying the label WCNSR? Wounded child, no surviving relatives. When no line length can contain the grief, no rhyming couplet can provide a reason why this is acceptable to anyone. Bare branches hanging from granite clefts remind me of scorched olive trees, and beneath them there's a shape in the rock like a child swaddled in a shroud. There's no peace here. There's no peace. No peace. No matter how many of us are calling out for it. I'm going to read a very short poem that I wrote in 2006 for those who had suffered in Beirut during the bombing there. And it's for my friend who lives in Beirut at the moment. Testimony of baby Haydova. In days to come, I may learn to speak the names for anger, fear, forgiveness. But these days, all I know is how my mother holds my face so tight against her that I feel the tremors of her heartbeat pumping through my veins. The smell of her blood will never leave me. Take your picture now, then tell me why I have been saved. Thank you. Free Palestine. Free all those places under colonial rule.
I'm going to start by reading a poem by the Tamil poet Dushyanthan, who writes in Tamil. This has been translated by Sasha Ebling. They do not know. Yesterday someone died. It wasn't me, nor was it you. Today someone died. Not you, not I. If someone dies tomorrow, that may be you or I. Definitely one of us, my friend. At dawn, there will be more and more military trucks, and the roads in our village will be blocked off with barbed wire. Then you or I will be abducted and shot dead, definitely. They do not know that you and I are human. All they know is that you and I are not human. I'm now going to read two of my own poems. This next poem names the names of civilians killed in the Sri Lankan Civil War. These were their names. What does it feel like to sound these half-used names of half-lived lives? Arulam Palam, a golden blessing. Arul Muganathan, a man with a wondrous face. Arunachalam, a hill of intense fire. Ashokan was to live a life without sorrow. Bhavani was to be a giver of life. Geetha carried the music of the gods in her hair, and so did Ragini. Yasoda was a gift from God. Kavita, a poem. Piriyalini was a woman in love. Nesudure, a man filled with love. Chini Thambi was a little boy made of sugar. Sivaratnam, a child of light. So many names bound by 1,000 soft blessings. So many names turned to dust and ash. Balasundaram was a beautiful child. Darshini, a beautiful offering. Tyagarajan was one who sacrificed himself for others. Yogendran was the one who chose to serve. And Chellaya, Kumada, Kunjitambi, darling, darling boy, Manoharan, Rasamohan, Tilageswari were the names of the beloved, the cherished ones, the burning invocations of life. Things happen. When they pepper neighborhoods with imported mortars and expansive tank fire, when they go from house to house, lining up girls, women, and men in revenge or on a whim, when they shut down substations and impose curfews so that market sellers face ruin, when people go unfed, unwashed, and scavenge for scraps, when they shoot blindfolded men in the back and take souvenirs of mutilated lives and hopes, when they rape girls and grandmothers and celebrate the hecatomb of their success, things happen and the world moves on. In solidarity with the people of Palestine and Lebanon, I now hand over to the poet Vivi Marie van der Putten.
This first poem I'm going to read is in Sinhala. It was written by Vimal Disanayaka about people who are indifferent and oblivious to the suffering of people at war, or maybe even to an indifferent God. It's called Mage Miturekuta, to a friend. යුදගිනි දැල් අහස උසට පැතිරී යනවා. කුසගිනි හඬ දිගු බිතු දෙදරා විහිදෙනවා. ඇල දොළ ගංගා කඳුලින් පිරී ගලනවා. පුළුන් වලා යහනක් මත ඔබ නැලවෙනවා. අවිගත් බිය සැක දන හද තුල මොර දෙනවා. සැඩ සුළඟින් උස් ගිරිකුළු බිඳී වැටෙනවා. ජනගිනි කඳු පුපුර පුපුර ලෝදිය එනවා. පුළුන් වලා යහනක් මත ඔබ නැලවෙනවා. වේදනාව හැම නෙතු සඟලකින් ගලනවා. මේ කත ගුගුරා යළි යළි කම්පා වෙනවා. මරණය දුක් කළු කොඩි දස දිගත නගනවා. පුළුන් වලා යහනක් මත ඔබ නැලවෙනවා. මොහොතක් ඇස් ඇරලා ඔබ පහත බලන්නේ නැතුව ඈත අහස් ගැබෙහි සැඟවී ඉන්නේ. ලතෙත් ගුණය සිඳුණු නිසාදෝ හද බඳුනේ. නැත්නම් ඔබේ ඉරණම දැකලද සකි සඳුනේ. And this next poem is also a very small poem by Kusal Kuruvita, written in Sinhala, about how you cannot wish upon a falling star because it's a missile. පැතුමක් පතනු කෙලෙසද කඩා වැටෙන තරුවක් නොවේයි මිසයිලයක්. And this next one is by me, called Offering. Powerless in the vehemence of war, all she can do is take small offerings to women and children in refugee camps, join protest rallies near Lipton Circus, sign petitions for peace, pray each day that no new lives would be taken, and every time a bomb explodes, ensure that those who matter to her are safe. In the face of such hate, all she holds on to is love. And this one, the final poem, is for Gaza. I call it Gaza 2023. Babies with gashes are dying on my screen. Their mouths are being sutured. There was an eclipse recently. I heard that catastrophes happen between eclipses. A woman I know with poetry in her soul died yesterday because her heart decided it had had enough. Enough. There is a Hebrew word for enough, I know because I checked. There is a wall there named the place of weeping. I pour my impersonal grief into a cup and water the tiny plant he gave me. It has patterns on its leaves that look like babies' tiny mouths. I will not let it perish. In solidarity with Palestine.